Hello and welcome to A Look Inside. I'm your host Demetria Head, and today here in Metro Detroit, it is currently a sunny 77 degrees. Still nice enough to sit on your patio deck or wherever you choose and listen in to today's episode. This marks the very first episode of A Look Inside, and I have some book goodies on my tote bag recommendations list just for you. But before I get into today's books, we're going to take a short musical break and we will be right back. Welcome back. We're going to get into what I refer to as my tote bag recommendations. These are books that you can throw in your bag and take to the beach or to work and read on your lunch break. Today, I have 5 books for you that are very short reads, under 100 pages, but as I was reading all of them, I found them all to be very valuable in their own way and packed with meaningful and powerful information that I want to share with you. You can put these on your TBR list, and I'll also be adding these books to the notes at the end of this episode for your reference. So the first book I have for you is by a very lovely author, Rolanda St. Felix. The book is Purposeful Growth, and it's a collection of poems that are very powerful. From cover to cover, Purposeful Growth reads like a journey, a personal journey. It led me to self-reflect. At times I was filled with joy, and at other times I cried. What St. Felix's poetry does for the spirit may be relative from person to person. However, I think anyone who reads Purposeful Growth will feel a sense of refreshing calm. She takes the reader through a journey of empathy, growth, empowerment, strength, courage, and resilience. At this time, I do want to read one of her poems to you. All of them stood out very boldly, but this one I think is most appropriate for the time, especially after the tragic mass school shooting and the very young lives that were lost in recent weeks. The poem is called Babies. Babies are everywhere. They come in different shapes and sizes. Some are soft and sweet, others not too neat. They laugh and play, but they never say what's on their mind. Babies can speak with their faces, but they always leave a trace, a clear scent and taste. Babies are special in their own way. They don't mean any harm. All they want is some attention. A lot of babies are homeless. They never knew their moms or dads. They always have a smile on their face. Some babies are not wanted, that they are being thrown in the dumpster just as they're born. Babies feel sad. You may not notice, but they feel the same pain as older kids. They feel the same pain as their parents. Make no mistake, precious bundles of joy are being tortured and beaten to death. Their conscience says to do the right thing at this point in time. They have no clue of what the right thing is, so they strangle and snap the neck of their beloved son or daughter, leaving them with bruises the size of cantaloupes. Babies are God's gift to the world. They should always be loved and taken care of. Babies are the world to me. To watch someone kill that small piece of world is a tragedy. Think about what you're doing when you kill the next doctor, lawyer, pediatrician, teacher, basketball player, tennis champion, mother, or father. Think about all of the little babies. Another poetry book that's worth reading is by Charles Mays. The book is Consuming Thoughts, and once I picked it up, I could not put it back down. It will captivate you page after page. What I find that Mays does creatively and very poetically is he allows a story to unfold. I don't know if he did that on purpose or if it just came out that way, but he speaks of this life and varying stages of love that bring heartache but also pleasure at times. Then he does this wonderful thing of navigating us through this experience where, after the dark moments, he's renewed and reminded of the light at the end of the trials. Joy, peace, and trust, for example, makes their way back into his life kind of as a surge of strength that he really needs. But even in the midst of the highs, there are more lows and struggles along the way, but the trials harness in more strength and resilience until he's shed his old self and has come out refined. It's almost like he's having a revelation about his personal life and journey, and it's something that we can all probably relate to or have experienced in our own lives. I want to read one of his beautifully crafted poems called I Ran Into a Friend. I ran into a friend. Her name was Peace. She showed me all the things I've been missing. And though she was on the outside, she continued to pursue me until I let her pierce my corroded black heart. A true friend that I had to find to manipulate the dark thoughts of my mind. I ran into a friend. Her name was Truth. She revealed everything I've been holding down inside my heart and soul. I gave her the key to unlock that chamber, and she condensed the lies and showered me in reality. I ran into a friend. Her name was Joy. She was one of the most stubborn friends I had known. It took her a good deal of time to envelop me, and as her name suggests, the emotional, spiritual, mental joy that I had relinquished washed ashore. I ran into a friend. His name was Trials. Trials helped me, but he was always with me from the beginning. It was awkward because I ran into him many times, quite often. He helped father me, helped strengthen me. It is almost impossible to fathom the amount of integrity bestowed upon me by Trials. They all rolled off into the midnight sky. There's no telling which one I would see again, except Trials. It's no surprise he lived in the same complex as I. We will pause for a moment, and when we return, I'll share with you the next two books on my tote bag recommendation list. So we will be right back. All right, we are back with more books to add to your list. I want to share with you two books that should be on everyone's TBR list or list in general, especially during a time when we need to nurture our own mental health and get back to self-care, self-love, and making sure our overall mental wellness is not neglected. Surrender to Truth by Marie Charles is a book about healing from traumatic experiences, such as the many forms of abuse, whether physical, mental, or sexual. The author shares her personal and unfortunate encounters with abuse and how it shaped her life from childhood to adulthood. I love the way she breaks down each stage from the beginning to end, unpacking and reliving her truth in each chapter. The first few chapters take you through this breaking, shattering, settling, and aftermath in which she shares the psychological effects, confusion, fear, and emotions that go hand in hand with abuse. Once she takes you through the unpacking process, she helps you navigate through the healing process in the last few chapters. This includes the importance of surrendering, allowing the healing after standing in your truth, then starting the journey of self-love. At this time, I want to share with you an excerpt from her book. The next thing I did was the most selfish thing I could have ever done. I decided to take a bunch of muscle relaxers along with some vodka. I took more when I felt like it wasn't working fast enough. He was in and out of the house, barbecuing some meat on the pit for the family. Although it was the day from hell for me, it was still Easter for the children, and he wanted to give them some kind of joy. He wasn't aware of what I was doing to myself. I sent him an email of important info that I knew he would need and who I wanted my daughter to live with. I was about to take the easy way out. I knew my daughter and his niece needed me. I knew what I was doing was selfish. I made myself block out those feelings. I couldn't allow myself to feel that and go through with it. At one point, I was in the kitchen fixing more juice and vodka, and my daughter came in. I hugged her and told her how much I loved her and that I always would. Her response was, "I love you too, Mom, but you're scaring me." Part of me wanted to stop, make myself vomit up everything I just took, and try to deal with this pain another way. My depression overrode the moment, though. I felt like it was my time. The next book I want to share with you is Alone in the Dark by LaToya Nicole. The author chronicles her life of battling depression and shares some cathartic words of encouragement to those going through the same thing. She shares her journey, which includes identifying the root causes of depression, the importance of seeking counseling, and goes beyond this to include holistic ways to heal from it. She talks about altering the present environment before you can change it, and therefore not repeat history. This is another simplified read that helps you to unpack all of the heavy stuff. I love that she invites the reader to journal through their healing process by asking yourself the tough but well-needed questions, then answering them honestly. She includes these wonderful affirmations of validation and healing to close out her story. It's definitely relatable to many of us and also helpful in the purging process that we all need in order to heal. So let me share with you an excerpt from one of her chapters. Medication does not heal. It relieves the symptoms for a few minutes and may even put you to sleep. But at daybreak, the empty feeling is back. Medication was all I knew. Not just pills, but alcohol, excessive partying, and sex. I felt good, if only for a moment. But as with all medication, there were side effects. The effects of coping ushered me further into a space I did not want to be. Is this what rock bottom looks like? I often asked. It was so bad that if I missed a party, I would go insane. I thought I was being young and having fun, enjoying life. As much as I loved being alone, I loved to party too, and would be mad as hell if I missed a night. Half-dressed, attracting brokenness, it deceived me into thinking I was happy. None of it was helping. It only eased the pain temporarily. Those I hung out with stopped telling me where they were going to because my dancing was so sexually suggestive that it took attention away from them. I was crashing and burning, and all my friends could think about was men giving them less attention than they were giving me. Pill popping became my thing. I did what I had to do to fit in and escape. I can't imagine how many teenagers are depressed and have resorted to self-medicating. How many parents assume it was just a phase they go through, never seeking help. What is this phase stuff about? Why are they all destructive? Are there any healthy phases to experience? We normalize these patterns by calling it a thing people go through. Anything I could get my hands on to knock me out, I took it. I wanted to sleep it all away. I did not want to feel it anymore. The pain medication got me so high that I went numb. I loved the feeling. It made me tired, but it intensified the high. Mainly when I felt the urge to go to sleep. I did not think about anything except the numb, tingling feeling as I floated away from my pain, if only for a moment. We will take another short musical break, and when we return, I will share my final book on today's tote bag recommendations list. Welcome back, listeners. We are down to the last book for today's episode. It is Missed Opportunities by Dr. Lisa Coney-Fonville. This is another simplified and easy read, yet each page is filled with powerful words that will carry you through whatever path you're on in your journey to greatness. She shares so many simple yet important strategies to help you take advantage of the opportunities around you. This includes a self-assessment of you and your surroundings. She challenges the reader to take a hard and necessary look at yourself and your environment, the people who help shape you, whether healthy or unhealthy. I especially love her chapter on why we should pay attention to details. She talks about how powerful mindfulness can be and how we become so preoccupied with life that we miss or dismiss those small details of the day. In another chapter, she talks about how to overcome the fear paralysis that causes us to miss opportunities. So I want to close this episode out with an excerpt from Dr. Lisa's book. Your association with others who possess extraordinary character and integrity can increase your value. Just as one whose reputation is toxic can also decrease your value just by association. It is essential to have a strong circle of positive influencers if you are going to succeed in this life. It does matter who's in your circle and who you take your notes from. Just as your circle serves as your cheerleader when you accomplish your goals, the same must be reciprocated. I have what I call my favorite 5. I have 5 true friends that no matter what hour on the clock, what day it is, or where I am within reason, I can call any one of them and expect them to show up when needed without receiving the 3rd degree and without complaints. That's true friendship. These 5 friends will do the same for any one of my children if they were to fall in need of their help. It's amazing the love we have among us. I will do the same for them. And the only question I'll ask is, where are you? What can you say about your circle? Do you need to reevaluate who's circling around you and make adjustments? Evaluate the people in your life, then promote, demote, or terminate. You are the CEO of your life. Thank you all for listening in on today's episode. I hope you enjoyed my book recommendations. Coming up on episode 2, I will be discussing the following books: An Unfair Shake, The Events of My Life Are Proof of God's Existence, 30 Days to Increase Faith, Diabetes Made Better, and 2 Miracles and a Blessing. If you have a book you'd like featured on the show, or if you have any book recommendations, you can email me at gpbookreview@gmail.com. I will also include this information in the notes after the show. Until then, I'll say bye for now and hope you tune in to the next episode.